Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today it is time for July Oscar predictions, and this week we are going to be tackling Best Picture. And so, yeah, not too much has changed, although we have gotten some new distributors for some films. Some films have still not been distributed, and this is sort of right before the Film Fest lineups are going to be announced. I'm assuming so. But yeah, and before I go on, I do want to let you guys know that I am on Award Expert at the Hannahcast, so if you want to follow me there, go ahead and do so. Regardless, let's get on to the predictions, shall we? I still don't really see anything beating Sinners right now. I just don't. Again, right now. And anything could happen later on down the line, but I just don't really see what else could truly challenge Sinners right now. I know some people would say sentimental value, and I do think sentimental value will do well at the Golden Globes and especially the BAFTAs. The BAFTAs are going to love sentimental value. There's one problem though. All right, there's one problem. I don't know what guilds sentimental value would win, at least of the major guilds. You know, PGA, DGA, Writers Guild, SAG. It's like, what, major guild precursor would sentimental value win? I don't really know. That's the problem, I'm just like, I don't know. Because I don't think DGA would do sentimental value. I mean, that would seem a little bit out of character for them. PGA, an international film, has never won PGA. Even Parasite didn't win PGA. That went to 1917, so that's out of the question. I don't think it's eligible for Writers Guild, so there goes that theory, I'm assuming. Yep, I wanted to make sure I'm looking at the Writers Guild website, which you can actually look up films. Like, you just go into the search thing and find where it says find a writer, and you type in a film or a project or anything like that, and right now, I don't know why I'm even saying right now, because it's just not there. But however, sentimental value is not in there for Writers Guild, so it's looking very much likely that it is not eligible for the Writers Guild Awards. So it's not going to win Writers Guild. I don't know if it would win SAG Ensemble, because I feel like something like Sinners would be way more up, SAG's alley. So it's like, I don't know. Whereas with, the guilds and Sinners, I could easily see Sinners winning all these guilds. I could see Sinners winning PGA. It's a big popular film, but it's also a big original vision that people are very passionate about. So it would do very well on a preferential ballot. It's easily going to be one of, if not the most impressive achievement in directing of the year. And again, one that people can be very much passionate about. Writing, I mean, it's gonna win original screenplay. It's at least it's gonna win Writers Guild. That's gonna be big for it. And then again, SAG Ensemble, it's gonna be a very big contender overall. And that's what I'm kind of thinking. It's like, when looking at the nominations that I'm predicting it for, it's like, you can nominate Sinners for a lot of awards. Almost too many that I'm currently predicting right now. Well, again, I don't know if that's going to translate at the end of the day, but it's going to get at bare minimum double-digit nominations. I can't see how it wouldn't. And sure, is it going to do well at BAFTA? Probably not. I don't think so. At least not in terms of wins. But as long as it gets the Magic 3 picture, director, and screenplay at BAFTA. I mean, it's going to get screenplay. Screenplay is usually pretty close to the Oscars these days, but if it can still get nominated for director and best film at BAFTA, then it doesn't matter what else wins, because that shows Sinners is still strong enough internationally to get these nominations. But that's the problem. It needs to be strong enough to get those nominations at BAFTA. If it struggles at BAFTA and doesn't get that many nominations, or at least, doesn't do well above the line, again, if it misses director, that's a red flag. And if it misses best film, that's a big red flag, because that is the sign of a weak contender. Look at Wicked, look at Barbie, even though granted those are IP films, but still, those are films that were very big and popular, and some people thought could win Best Picture, but then they did not get nominated for Best Film at BAFTA. So it remains to be seen if Sinners can get those nominations, but still, if it does, again, like I said, it does not even need to win a lot of BAFTAs. Hell, it could even win just one BAFTA. But as long as it gets nominated for those key awards, it can most certainly still win Best Picture. And like I said before, Sinners, I feel like, could do very well at the guilds. So, yeah. Again, right now I do think it is between Sinners and Sentimental Value, but I just don't really see what guilds Sentimental Value could take, even if it has a very good day at the BAFTAs or even at the Golden Globes. And that's another factor. It's like, would Sinners be considered, or like, would it be submitted as a drama or a musical or comedy? That's the thing. Because if these two are split, then, like, I mean, let's say Sinners goes into musical comedy. Well, then it has a very good chance to win that category at the Golden Globes. It has a very, very good chance to win. Because there's not really much competition elsewhere. But if Sentimental Value, you know, like, is a musical or comedy, but again, I'm not sure. That's why I am kind of curious to see how the international voting groups would respond to Sinners. Like, how well are they gonna like this one? Because I know it did not make a lot of money internationally. So, but again, like I said, the guilds are what matter. But I am curious to see if it can still perform well with international voters somehow. But still. Jay Kelly, I'm becoming more and more confident by the minute that it's gonna do very well. Apparently, Matt Neglia has said that the buzz coming out of Jay Kelly is that this is George Clooney's best performance. And it's like, whoa, he's like the real deal. And that combined with like Adam Sandler being win competitive. Again, it's like, I don't really think there's a reason to doubt Noah Baumbach doing a film like this. Like, I know White Noise did not make any noise whatsoever, ironically enough, because it's white noise, huh? But that was a weird, like, sci-fi-esque period film. It's kind of weird. Jay Kelly is looking to be more like the Meyerowitz Stories or Marriage Story, just like very like centered around just characters interacting with one another. I think that's very likely what's going on here. And again, if it's that, then I think, you know, Jay Kelly has a very good chance of being in the top 5. We did get the trailer for Begonia. Finally, we have finally gotten the trailer for Begonia. And, alright, it's not exactly what I expected. I mean, granted, it's not going to win costume design or production design at all. It could maybe still get nominated for production design, but it's absolutely not happening in terms of a costume design nomination. It's looking to be very contemporary. Even the cinematography doesn't look that insane. So, I am wondering how crazy of a contender this is actually going to be, because like it looks like it's not going to be a tech contender at all, like not one bit. But so it's like it's gonna have to rely on like director, screenplay, and some acting nominations. But again, it's like, seeing as how it's not really as, you know, ambitious as some of Yorgos Lanthimos' other films. Again, I forgot how to say his name. It looks like it's going to be a solid contender. But again, we'll have to see what kind of happens. It was just an accident. At the end of the day, do I think It Was Just an Accident is going to be number 5? No. I don't think it's number 5 at the end of the day. But why do I have it so high on the list? Well, because I'm very confident that it's going to be nominated for Best Picture. I know some people are saying that Neon has a bunch of movies right now, and it's like, well, they can't nominate everything, but there's a couple problems with that. One, they can get 2 movies in Best Picture. That's fine. Especially now that they've won Best Picture twice. Like, they can get really confident now. Second, Matt Neglia from Next Best Picture, in the Oscar Expert Discord server was saying that Neon has appointed the best awards campaigner in Hollywood that there is, and they have this person exclusively working for Neon this award season, and that this person can get them a lot of nominations. That's going to be pretty big. And again, I don't think, It Was Just an Accident is going to be like a, Emilia Perez or a Parasite or a Roma, where it's going to show up in every single precursor. That's not going to be the case. I think what's going to happen is that Accident is going to be more like a Drive My Car, where it shows up like at the last second. It doesn't really show up anywhere until BAFTA, where it gets like a director nomination, a screenplay nomination, and then boom, Oscars. I think that's going to be Accident's path. Again, it's not going to be an easy path, but I do think he'll get it at the end of the day. So, yeah. And I know some people are going to try to say, well, if it didn't win the Palm, then we wouldn't be talking about it right now. But the problem is, it did win the Palm. Like, it's done. It won the Palm. That's a pretty big deal. We can't just sweep it under the rug. It's like, well, I mean, if it didn't win the Palm, it's like, that doesn't really matter. We're in this scenario now. And it's not like Titan, because from what we've heard by people who have seen it, It Was Just an Accident is a pretty, like, how do I describe it? Is a more palatable film than something like Titan. It's not like some weirdo movie that's gonna turn people off. It's apparently very accessible, and people can get into, the general audience can get into it. So as long as it's that, then yeah, it's gonna get in there. So I do feel like people are panicking a little bit too much. I do think it can absolutely happen. So yeah, that's all fine and dandy. Next, let's get on to the bottom 5 for Best Picture, all right? And I'm still going to go with Avatar: Fire and Ash. I am still going to go for that. I see no reason to doubt James Cameron right now, all right? Sure, do I think it's going to get just the Avatar: The Way of Water package? Sure. But, however, again, it's like, I don't know. Like, I will have to, like, I'm at a point right now where I will believe a James Cameron film is missing Best Picture when I see it. Because we all tried to doubt Avatar: The Way of Water, which, granted, you could also argue that was the legacy sequel argument, but then again, a lot of legacy sequels were not as acclaimed as Avatar: The Way of Water. So I feel like James Cameron just kind of has that sauce. You know, I think he has that sauce. So I'm still going to go with it for now. Again, if it's pretty clear that people are getting tired or like really tired of Avatar and it's missing major precursors, then sure. But right now, I'm not willing to bet on that right now. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Again, I think it's fine to have it in here right now. Now, granted, you know, it is from the director of Crazy Heart, and that was like the closest thing to a Best Picture film the director has ever directed. And he's not really directed anything nearly as acclaimed as that. So, I don't know. It is a bit of a it is a bit of a risk. But, however, I don't know. Like the fact that 20th Century Studios is behind it, and I don't know. Maybe this is more of a situation where the director isn't really directing the film. It's more of a studio thing, and they kind of know how to make it work. Again, I'm not completely sure, but I could see the package. You know, Jeremy Allen White could be a very big lead actor contender, and it's not like it's just some nobody studio. It is 20th Century Studios, so maybe they have something on their hands here. And this is where we get to the films where I don't know what's going on, all right? Where I don't really know what's going on. Because, yeah, I still do have The Rivals of Mziah King, and it hasn't been acquired yet, and that is very strange. But, however, it's like, how do I describe it? Like, I don't know what else to put in, because a lot of the other films, even if they do make sense, I mean, like, you know, we'll talk about them here in a bit. You know, the ones that go beyond 10. But it's like, so many of the other contenders, it's just like, well, that's too many movies for this studio, and I don't know what to take out. And even then, I'd have to, if I do take a film out, that means I still have to put it in a new film, and it's just it's just a mess. So I'm just going to I'm still going to keep in Rivals of Mziah King for now. Again, I don't know. But again, as long as, you know, again, Neon doesn't, you know, pick it up, we should be fine. Like, I don't know, maybe A24 could pick this up, because, I don't know, making Marty Supreme their one push. And again, I'll discuss my thing about Marty Supreme here in a bit, but it's like, I don't know. I think they want to have like a backup film other than just Marty Supreme. Then we got One Battle After Another. And again, this could be a film it could be a film that kind of tanks. I mean, we'll have to see, because I don't think it's going to do well at the box office at all. Like, it costs over $100 million, and it's not going to make any money. And I don't care what anybody says. if a movie flops and it's coming out that early, then studios don't really want to campaign those for awards. Like, yes, we've had a lot of flops in Best Picture before, like West Side Story. But however, West Side Story came out in like December. It was like, by the time it was flopping in the box office, it was already making the rounds during award season. So the buzz around it was less so, oh, it's a disaster at the box office, and more so, look at how many awards it's getting. It's the timing. And sadly, One Battle After Another does not have timing on its side. It is coming out in like what, October or September? That's not good for a film like this. Again, no, because it's not going to do well at the box office. So I am concerned over that. And I don't think it's going to get a director nomination because, like, how I describe it, it's like people are saying, well, I mean, this could, like, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson's going more commercial with this film, so it'll be more accessible to audiences. All right, sure, but the director's branch notoriously does not like that. They like the more auteur visions. They don't really like it when they try to appease the audience or make it more commercial. That's the exact opposite of what the director's branch wants. So by that alone, I can't say that One Battle After Another is top 5. Like, it's a bottom 5 film. And again, it could easily just slip out of Best Picture. It could actually just happen. The only reason why I don't have it right now slipping out of Best Picture is because, again, you look at the rest of the competition, and it's like, I'm either not as confident in these films, or the films I am confident could probably be very good. It would still be too many movies for one studio. So, I don't know. Is this thing on? I think is Searchlight, and it's directed by Bradley Cooper. And now, granted, it's not as like a large scale production as something like A Star Is Born or even Maestro, but even then, as long as it still has the, you know, as long as it still has very, very good writing and people still really, really like it, then it still might just get in. You know, we've seen smaller films like this get into Best Picture before. So, well, again, we'll have to see what happens there. And yeah. Then we get to the films just outside of Best Picture. And again, let me talk about these here in a bit. Ella McKay. All right, Ella McKay. I have a feeling maybe this could be received very well. The problem is that if I put it in Best Picture, that would be 3 20th Century Studios films that are in Best Picture, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, Avatar Fire and Ash, I don't want to risk not getting James Cameron right. I don't want to do that. And Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, I mean, I am a little bit wary over that, but again, the nomination package, I feel like, is too great, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk taking those out. Rental Family is also Searchlight, and maybe that could happen, but I don't know. I really need to see a trailer. I really need to see a trailer for Rental Family because I just don't know. Something about this is like making me go, I don't know. I need to see something coming out of this. And this is the first time. Oh wait, I forgot about The Secret Agent. Yeah, Secret Agent. I mean, look. On one hand, Brazil did catapult, like, I'm Still Here into Best Picture. There are a couple of things I do want to point out that Secret Agent doesn't really have. One, Fernanda Torres won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama. Now, usually that wouldn't mean too much to me, but that was happening right when Oscar nomination voting was happening. All right, she won right when voting was happening, and that allowed people to see her speech. And also, the deadline was extended due to the fires. So I feel like people got more time to watch I'm Still Here, and it just barely squeezed into the top 10 for Best Picture that year. Now, I don't know if... Hold on. Wagner Mora. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it is Wagner Mora. Or is it Wagner Mora? Because I know, like, that could be... I don't know. But Mora, I don't know if he's win competitive. Again, I don't know for sure. So that's the problem. And again, I don't even have him in for a lead actor right now. I know Brazil is very, very passionate over their films, but I just don't know if lightning can strike twice. Again, I'm not saying it shouldn't, because again, I actually really liked I'm Still Here. I loved I'm Still Here. I think that would have been a better Best Picture winner than Anora. So I'm not even a hater. I'm just trying to make sure I can get things right, you know? And I'm very willing to believe The Secret Agent is good, is very, very good. But again, the odds, I don't know if the odds would say that this would happen again, you know? And plus, also, the other problem is that this is also Neon. Neon also, acquired this film. So that means we have another film, in the mix for Best Picture that's been acquired by Anora. And not Anora, by Neon. And again, it's just too many. It's just too many films for Neon. Again, I know. Now, granted, Matt Neglia does think that with the awards campaigner that Neon has, that they can get more films in. But I don't know if movie studios get 3 films in Best Picture. I don't know if that happens. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But again, it does have the acclaim. But I'm not sure what the centerpiece of the film you'd be giving it. And I don't think it's an adapted screenplay. So that's another problem that it's going to have to face, because if it's an original screenplay, then, original screenplay. That's going to make it really hard for it to get nominated, because if it was adapted screenplay, well then yeah, you could easily just do adapted. Even if it was just adapted screenplay and picture, easy. You could just do that. But because it's an original screenplay, that it's way more competitive, and I don't know if it can do that. And then we have Train Dreams. I don't know why I initially took this out of the list. Maybe I just thought it was going to be nothing after Sundance. Although, it did get acquired by Netflix, and they are putting it out for like an awards release. I think the problem here, though, is that I'm not sure how passionate people are over Train Dreams, and also its nomination package doesn't sound big. It is an adapted screenplay contender, so that is good for it. Because again, adapted screenplay is really, really barren, but if they wanted to put it into adapted screenplay, they could. And also, this is from I think this is from like the writer of Sing Sing. Yeah, Clinton Bentley. Clinton Bentley was one of the writers for Sing Sing, and also Greg Quidar is also one of the writers for this film. And this is a little bit more techie than Sing Sing was. Like, apparently people are saying you could nominate this for cinematography. But apparently it's also not very showy in other crafts, like production design or costume design, even though this is a period film. So that could probably hurt it. Again, I'm not completely sure. We'll have to see what happens. Kiss of the Spider Woman. I mean, yeah, I don't know if this is happening or not. Right now I'm going to say no, but that trailer was pretty phenomenal. And, we'll see what happens if it goes to TIFF. But yeah, but I could see the package already. Picture, supporting actress, costume design, cinematography, production design. I mean, that's good enough. And also sound. It would also get sound because it's a musical. 6 nominations is definitely very much enough to get into Best Picture nomination. Or, I mean, granted, 2 is technically enough because, movies can get, screenplay and Best Picture. But screenplay is, a really high-tier category you want to have. So, yeah, I don't know. I am keeping my eye out for Kiss of the Spider Woman, though. I do want to keep my eye on it. Sound of Falling I have for number 16. Again, maybe. But again, if I'm not... Wait, no, this is Mubi. I think Mubi is the one that is acquiring Sound of Falling, and I don't know. I don't know about this, if this is actually going to happen. Now, I know some people are saying, well, Mubi got the substance in, but it's also yeah, but that's the first Best Picture film they ever had. Are we going to say IFC is a great Best Picture, campaigner just because they had Boyhood? No. So no. I don't want to put too much stock into Mubi just because it's Mubi, Then we get to Anemone. And this is another thing that apparently, Matt Neglia was saying. I think it was on the podcast, Next Best Picture podcast, and he was like, or someone was like, he in this film, in Anemone, he's not just doing this as a favor for his son. Apparently people are saying he's really, really good in it, giving his all. And look, you don't want to doubt a movie that has Daniel Day-Lewis in it. At least, especially not like post 3-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, granted, the only film he's done since he's gotten 3 Oscars was Phantom Thread, but still, that managed to get Best Picture. I am wondering if this could actually be a sleeper. If this could actually be a sleeper hit. I mean, Focus Features is mostly missing from this list, I think. Or wait, no, I think they have Begonia, so I don't know. But, however, I do want to keep my eye out for it. And I don't know, maybe it could happen. I don't know. The Life of Chuck, it's bombed so bad at the box office, it's kind of insane. But I don't know. And it's probably, but again, it is adapted, and that is a very wide open field right now in terms of who can get nominated, because it's like, well, there's not a lot of competition. I don't know. And I don't want to take too much stock into this, but it did come in second place in every single award it was nominated for at the, Astra Mid-Season Awards. It was second place for Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, and Supporting Actor. Again, I don't know if that really means a lot because there wasn't a lot of competition, but it was beating out films like F1 in a lot of these categories. Again, probably doesn't mean a lot, but just putting it out there. So yeah, I don't know. But again, the box office for this film is not doing it any favors. Wicked for Good. I know people are going to be really mad. Because it's like, why aren't you doing Wicked? Stop ignoring Wicked. It's like, look, the response that the second act of Wicked has is very divisive. I don't want to base my best picture predictions on something that is divisive. I don't want to do that right now. I'm not saying it's impossible. That it could get a Best Picture nomination. But however, like, it's already gonna have to overcome sequelitis, like the sequel bias that the Oscars have. And it's also gonna have to overcome the fact that the second act of Wicked is notoriously not, or at the very least, at best, divisive and not as good as the first act. And I think that could hurt it in a lot of categories. So, yeah. After the Hunt, I know Next Best Picture collectively has this at number 1. I'd be like, no. I don't think so. This is not the kind of film that sounds like it would ever be number 1 for Best Picture. And even then, Luca Guadagnino has not had a single film nominated for an Oscar since Call Me By Your Name. Challengers didn't get anything. Queer didn't get anything. Luca Guadagnino is not Oscar friendly. Again, other than Call Me By Your Name. So, I don't know. I don't want to risk that. It just does not sound really like an Oscars thing at all, Yeah. Then we get to Marty Supreme. Again, you're probably wondering, why do I have Marty Supreme all the way down at number 21? I do think Marty Supreme will be great. Probably. But, however, audiences do not like the Safdie's movies. And granted, it's only one Safdie brother, and the other one is doing The Smashing Machine. But, however, their audiences don't like their movies. They did not like Uncut Gems. Yeah, Uncut Gems made a lot of money, and that's probably why they're putting the budget behind this, because, hey, the Safdies can make some money, but audiences don't really like their movies all that much. They're very, they feel isolated by them. And I feel like this is not gonna change much. It's like, I don't know, I know some people are gonna go, well, it's Wolf of Wall Street, but it's like, Wolf of Wall Street was done by a previously nominated director. No, a previous Oscar-winning director with Martin Scorsese. It's like, a lot of the comparisons people make are like, well, yeah, Catch Me If You Can was done by Spielberg, who won a couple of Oscars and is notoriously known for making crowd pleasers. The Safdies are not crowd pleasers. I will predict Marty Supreme if it actually proves to be an audience crowd pleaser, but right now, I can't really do that right. I just can't. It's too much of a risk for me. And then we get to The Smashing Machine. Again, I don't know what to make of this movie. Although granted, Dwayne Johnson is going to be campaigning hard for this film. But again, I don't know. I'm going to kind of put these two sort of neck and neck at, who knows what happens. I do think the nomination potential for Marty Supreme is a little bit higher because of Tex. But, however, obviously, Dwayne Johnson could be a big contender. And I think even right now it could win makeup, but we'll have to see. Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery. I don't think it's going to get nominated for Best Picture. obviously it's gonna, the previous two films did pretty well with precursors for the most part. The first one got nominated for like Golden Globe musical or comedy, and a couple of other comedy musical actress, comedy musical actor. And, it got nominated for PGA Best Picture, and ultimately it got a screenplay nomination. Adapted screenplay. No, well, the first one was original screenplay, I should say. And then, what was it? Glass Onion arguably did a little bit better because it even did very well at the Critics' Choice Awards, getting Best Picture nominated. That was very good for it, and supporting actress. So this one, I'm just like, what could happen here? Now, it does, granted, the cinematography looks amazing, but I don't know if it's going to be a cinematography nominee. We'll have to see. But, however, I do think it's at least going to get, an adapted screenplay nomination. But the previous two didn't get nominated, so I'm not going to assume this one's going to get nominated either. So, yeah. No other choice. I've been hearing whisperings that this could actually be a 2026 release. I have no idea. But again, it's Neon. They have too many films right now. I just don't think they can get more than 2 films into Best Picture. That would be crazy. And even then, the plot of this one is I'm not sure. I don't know if this sounds like an Oscars thing, but we'll have to see. And Lee, again, I want to see what the response for this is first, because, yes, it's directed by Mona Fastvold, and it's written by Fastvold and Brady Corbet. These two were behind The Brutalist. But, however, The Brutalist was their only Oscar-friendly film that they've ever done, so I do want to keep a little bit of arm's length away from this. I'll see what happens, but right now I don't want to risk it right now. Yeah. Then we get to... hold on a second. Anyway, yeah, now we get to number 23. No, this is 26. The Ballad of a Small Player. Now, granted... I've taken this down a notch, a lot of notches, because apparently this is not I have gotten word from, that this is not really at all what's his name, Edward Berger's other films. Apparently this is more like a psychological ghost thriller thing. I'm like, man. And there goes the adapted screenplay contender. Shit, man. Still, I'm just like, that is interesting. That's pretty odd. Still, it's just man. So yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Frankenstein, I'm still not going to do Frankenstein. I'm sorry. I'm not going to predict a remake of a monster horror film in Best Picture. Oh, but Christian, it's not a remake, it's an adaptation of the book. It's for all intents and purposes, it's a remake. All right, there were previous versions of Frankenstein that came out. This is a remake. I don't again, for all intents and purposes, it is a remake. Let's be real here. And also, obviously, yeah, Frankenstein's not a boo jump scare kind of film, but it still has horror themes in there. It's again, for all intents and purposes, it's a remake of a monster horror film. So yeah, yes, Guillermo del Toro is directing it, but however, I don't think it's gonna be, it's just not something the Oscars would do. It's not like The Substance came out and they're just gonna nominate any acclaimed horror movie that comes out. And even then with Sinners, it's more of an original vision. So it's yeah. This kind of stuff never happens in Best Picture. Then we get to Hamnet. I just don't know if I can. I don't know. Again, Chloe Zhao hit it big with Nomadland. I don't know if it would have done as well of it as it did if there wasn't a pandemic. Then she did Eternals, and that did not turn out so well. And I know, and that was more so her fault, because Kevin Feige, I remember when Kevin Feige was saying, oh yeah, Eternals was the first MCU film where I mostly where I let the director basically do whatever she wanted, or at the very least was not as restrictive on Eternals as some of the other films. And it just seems like her sensibilities did not really translate well to big blockbusters. So, yeah, I don't know. Now, granted, this is not a big blockbuster, but again, we kind of have a 50-50-ish kind of track record here. And again, with Hamnet, I don't know. I need to see a trailer to see if I'm okay, maybe I was, misjudging this. But again, I don't know. So yeah. Tony, this is the Anthony Bourdain biopic starring Dominic Sessa. I heard from someone in chat that this actually could release this year, which is weird because wouldn't it be like currently filming right now? But then again, I guess you could also argue, well, it's probably not going to be a big post-production kind of film. But again, I'm not sure. It is from the director of Blackberry, which was a very acclaimed film, and I feel like, you know, and it wasn't really like an isolating film at all. I think a lot of people could really get behind Blackberry. I think that director just needs the right film, and I don't know, maybe this could be it. Who knows? And then we have At the Sea. I don't know if this is really going to happen, so take that for what you will. And then we have Hedda. You know, Hedda is it is announced for TIFF, so there is that. But again, especially seeing this picture, I'm like, I'm not sure how big of a contender this is going to be. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be like anything crazily stylized or anything. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like a mildly well liked film that doesn't really go anywhere. I don't know. And then obviously a Minecraft movie because Steve's Lava Chicken, yeah, it's tasty as hell. Like, yeah, everyone knows the Minecraft movie's going to sweep, just like how Madam Web sweeped and, you know, all that cool stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, those are my best picture predictions for July. Next week, we are going to be delving into the director and screenplay categories. And now I want to pass the question off to you. What are your best picture predictions for the month of July, or at least for this video? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, you're not going to get ahead of the game. Get it? Hedda?